When The Accountant came out back in 2016, no one really expected it to kick off a full-blown franchise. But here we are, with The Accountant 2 having raised the stakes and left fans wondering if a third film might be in the cards. The first movie introduced us to Christian Wolff, played by Ben Affleck, a math genius on the autism spectrum who makes his living balancing the books for some very shady clients. But he doesn't just do taxes. He uncovers a massive conspiracy while also dodging bullets and cracking skulls. Fast forward to the sequel, and Christian's back in action, only this time he's joined by his estranged brother Braxton. Together, they dive into a case involving the murder of a top Treasury agent. The sibling dynamic added a whole new layer to the story, and by the end of the movie, it's clear that their relationship is going to be a key part of the franchise moving forward. What's wild is that after the first film did way better than anyone expected at the box office, it looked like a sequel would show up pretty quickly. But instead, it took nearly a decade before The Accountant 2 finally hit theaters. Even with that long delay, the appetite for more Christian Wolff stories hasn't gone away. In fact, there's already buzz about The Accountant 3, even though it hasn't been officially confirmed just yet. So, what's the latest on this possible third installment? Well, director Gavin O'Connor has been talking about it, and it sounds like there's a good chance Anna Kendrick's character, Dana, might come back. According to O'Connor, she wasn't part of the second film by design. That one was all about the brothers, starting to rebuild their relationship. But if there's a third movie, he hinted that Christian's journey to find love and connection could bring Dana back into the picture. It's not set in stone, though. O'Connor's ideas are exciting, but enthusiasm alone won't greenlight a film. Hollywood still runs on box office numbers, and whether or not The Accountant 3 becomes a reality likely depends on how well the second movie performs. If it does great, then the third film might happen a lot faster than the sequel did, especially now that Amazon has picked up the rights to distribute the franchise. So while we wait to see what happens, let's talk about who might come back for another round. Of course, Ben Affleck would return as Christian. He's the core of the whole thing. And it'd be pretty hard to imagine the story continuing without Jon Bernthal as Braxton, since their sibling bond was such a big focus of the second movie. Then there's Justine, played by Allison Robertson, who's been a key supporting character so far and could definitely play a role in future missions. And don't count out Treasury Agent Mary Beth Medina, played by Cynthia Addai-Robinson. She's been involved in both films, and with the way her character's developed, there's a lot of room to explore her further. And of course, Kendrick's Dana might make a comeback, especially if Christian's emotional growth continues to be a theme. As for what the third film could actually be about, that's still pretty open-ended. The second movie didn't really end on a cliffhanger, but that's not unusual for action franchises. Instead, it expanded the universe and set up a bunch of potential directions for future stories. Christian and Braxton have become something of a power duo. Christian brings the brains, Braxton brings the brute force, so they could be thrown into all kinds of high-stakes situations. Beyond the action, O'Connor has hinted that the next movie will dig deeper into Christian's emotional life, particularly his desire for love and connection. That's something the franchise has touched on, but there's room to explore it more. Bringing back Dana could be a great way to do that, especially now that Christian's in a better place with his brother and may be ready to open up more. And even if the plot goes in a totally different direction, the dynamic between Affleck and Bernthal is strong enough to carry just about anything. Their chemistry really gives the movies an edge, and fans have responded to that in a big way. Their scenes together are often the highlights, and it's easy to imagine a third film building even more on that. By the end of The Accountant 2, we saw some major growth in Christian. He starts to actively connect with Braxton, and that moment of bonding is a big deal. It shows that the filmmakers understand how powerful their relationship is, and they're not afraid to lean into that. The next movie could really run with this newfound brotherhood and show how it changes both of them. The second film already shifted things by reuniting the brothers, and now the challenge for a third movie is to avoid feeling like a retread. That's why ending The Accountant 2 on a hopeful note, showing Christian trying to be closer to Braxton, sets things up perfectly. It means the next movie can show them working as real partners, maybe even as friends, which would be a nice contrast to the tension they had before. Braxton has always been the more aggressive, emotionally charged one, while Christian is guarded and analytical. In The Accountant, too, those traits created friction, but also made their eventual reconciliation more satisfying. So in a third movie, we'd likely see that relationship evolve even more. Maybe they'll bicker less and start trusting each other more. That kind of shift would keep things fresh and interesting without completely changing who they are. Cynthia Addai-Robinson, who plays Medina, has said she's excited about the possibility of a third film too. She hasn't gotten too deep into it since the sequel just came out, but she's hopeful that the franchise continues. She also pointed out that her character went through a big transformation between the beginning and end of the second film, and she's curious to see how that change could affect Medina moving forward. Medina's always been about justice, but The Accountant 2 challenged her views in a few ways. Maybe in a third movie, she'll start to see that justice can come in different forms. It'd be interesting to see her take on a more active role, maybe even teaming up more directly with Christian and Braxton. As of now, reviews for The Accountant 2 are looking solid. It's even getting better scores than the first one did. Critics have been kinder this time around, and audience reactions are even stronger, especially with a 92% score on Rotten Tomatoes. That kind of positive buzz could really help push the studio to give the third movie the green light. At the box office, things are looking good too, which only strengthens the case for continuing the series. If The Accountant 2 keeps performing well, it could very well become the stepping stone to the third film fans have been hoping for. So even though The Accountant 3 isn't officially happening yet, it feels like all the pieces are in place. The characters are still compelling. The story has room to grow. And the fans, they clearly want more. If the stars align and the studio gives it the go-ahead, we could be seeing Christian and Braxton back on screen sooner than anyone expected. After all, the heart of this franchise isn't just the action or the intrigue. It's the evolution of these characters and the bond between two very different brothers learning to trust each other. That's a story worth continuing. And that's that for today's video. Thank you so much for watching our video today, and we will hope to see you in our next video. As always, your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments section down below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments section down below.